I made very few promises when I ran for governor of New Mexico, but I kept all of the promises that I made. I'm making very few promises running for president of the United States. I'm promising three things. One is I promise to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013. Now, that isn't promising to balance the budget. That's promising to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013. That's going to be a document that is going to lay out a 43% reduction in federal spending. Now, so many look at that as such a negative. Now, let's look at the positive here. The positive is that we saved this country from what I think is a monetary collapse, and it's just due to the mathematics of continuing to spend more money than what we take in. So to prevent that monetary collapse, that's what we do. Now, what's a monetary collapse? That's what happened in Russia. And what happened in Russia is that the ruble inflated to the point where it wasn't worth anything. So what was daily life in Russia like when the ruble wasn't worth anything? Well, here's what happened in Russia. Russia developed the most sophisticated barter system of any country that the planet has ever known, where basically if you worked in the chainsaw factory and you went out and you worked all week, you got paid with a chainsaw on Friday. And you took the chainsaw, and within a matter of hours, you traded the chainsaw for milk and eggs and gasoline and clothing, and that's how it worked. I don't know if we really want to do that in this country, but that's a monetary collapse. That's a way of life that none of us can envision. And so that's the negative side of a monetary collapse. That's the negative side of continuing to spend more money than what you take in. On the positive side, which is what we all ought to be looking at, is that we can fix this. We can actually prevent this from happening. But to do that, what we need to do is balance the budget. So I am promising to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013. I'm also promising to veto legislation where expenses exceed revenue. Now, first of all, I'm elected President of the United States promising to do these two things. What is that? What is America shouting at Congress if I'm elected President of the United States? Balance the budget. That's what they're shouting. Balance the budget. Promising to veto legislation that exceeds revenue. I would like you to know that I'm not adverse to vetoing bills. I may have vetoed more bills as governor of New Mexico than the other 49 governors in the country combined. I vetoed 750 bills while I was governor of New Mexico. I had thousands of line-item vetoes as governor of New Mexico. Only 2 were overridden, so it made a difference when it came to billions of dollars worth of spending. It made a difference when it came to government telling you or I what we should or shouldn't do in the bedroom, which is something that I don't think government should be legislating. So promising to submit a balanced budget to Congress in the year 2013, which would be the fiscal year 2014, promising to veto expenditures that exceed revenue, I suggest to you that if you have a president that's going to do those two things, that number one, Congress will have to override the veto, which they'll do, but I suggest to you that spending will be lower in this scenario than any other possible scenario. So when people talk about, well, you can't cut spending. You can't cut spending. It'll be too much of a hardship. How much of a hardship is it going to be for you to pick up your chainsaw on a Friday afternoon after working all week long and then going out and bartering that chainsaw for what it is that you need? That's going to be real hardship